We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Just insert page. Okay, so let's start with the actual PHP code. Okay, so in the previous session we have completed this registration form. Okay, so in previous lecture we have created one connection file which looks like this, and then we have if we run this file there was no error. uh, in the insert file we have created a form. Okay, so the method is the post and the name of the form is the registration form. Okay, so let's start with the PHP code. If I want to include file, okay, so this one is the PHP code. I want to include this connection file to connect with the database. That is the only reason we have created the PHP file separately. Okay, so include connection.php. Now I have to start with the registration form. Okay, the data should be submitted only when I click the register button. Okay, so the name of the register button is REGFORM. Okay, so in the PHP there is the inbuilt if is set. So we have to create inbuilt. This one is the variable. This one is called $_post. Okay, so the name of the form or the button is the registration form. Okay, let's continue with this. Why this one is the required or necessary? See, first, uh, this page may contain different forms. Okay, so registration and login as well. So let's create variables. We have to create the 4 variables. One variable is auto increment, so $username is equal to $_post. Okay, so this one is the from to variable. Okay, so this one is we have to take it from the a name, because all the fields are uniquely identified with the name tag. Okay, so sorry, name attribute. Okay, so this one is the username $post a name. Next one $user email is equal to $_post. $_post, and this one is a password. Next one, last variable name is a user phone. Okay, so first we have to create into integer $_post and a phone. See, this one is we have converted the mobile number into integer part. Why? Because if the input type is the text, okay, so default is will be considered as a string, and we have created the database with the column data type with the integer. Okay, so before inserting it, we have to convert it into integer because of the data type of the particular column. Okay, let's check the data type. Okay, so this one is inside the structure. Okay, see, the data type is big integer. Okay, now, okay, this one is the entire process is about form to variable. So we have uh, taken all the data inserted by the user into our variables. Now let's create a query. So this one is a query variable, qry is equal to, okay, so insert into, okay, our table name is table underscore user. Okay, now we have to write all the names of the column only. So uname, then user email, then user password, and then user phone. Now we have to verify it. Okay, NME user email, user password, and user phone. Now we have created the query. Now we have to insert the values. Values are stored in our uh, variables. So first variable is dollar username, or that is not the capital, so the username. Mm, Next one, dollar. Okay, for easiness I am taking this one. It's next new line. Okay, so this one is username. Next one, our variable is dollar user email, so that is dollar user email. Next one, dollar user password, so dollar user password. Okay, so that is let's create the password. Okay, next one is dollar user phone number. Okay, as it is integer, we do not require single quote, so user phone. Well, let's check. This one is same, this one is same, this one is same, and this one is same. Okay, so most probably or hopefully our query is right. Okay, when we execute. Okay, so let's create a result variable, and to execute the query we have to create MySQL I underscore query, MySQL I underscore query, and the query connection variable. So this one is connection variable with the database, and this one is the query string. Okay, so to run or to execute the query we have to add this one. So if it is successful, so if it is dollar result, uh, we can say that echo the message values inserted successfully. Okay, otherwise we can display the message echo value something. Okay, or not successfully. Okay, not successfully. Now we have created okay, already we have closed this tag. Okay, so hopefully it works. So let's run this program. To We have created localhost slash mini project slash insert.php. Okay, so this one is our file test first at the rate test.com my test. Okay, typically this one shouldn't be appear. Okay, but here we have created the text, that is the reason. Okay, otherwise it should be the dotted, so we have to write here input type is equal to password, but for the visibility we have created the text. Okay, so this one is the my test 123, this might be the password, and 97 97 97 and 9, this one is the registration. Let's create it. Okay, value inserted successfully, that means we have created. Okay, means data should be inserted. Let's check whether the data is there or not. Okay, so this one is yes. Okay, so that's great. We have inserted the entire data successfully. Now this is how we can insert the multiple datas, or we can create the various forms, like it could have select, radio buttons, checkbox as well, and lot of other things. Okay, so next step is this one is all about the insert. Next create the next step is about the displaying the data. Okay, so let's create a display.php file. So file, then save as. Okay, so this one is display.php. Okay, I want to display this. So let's start with the connection. Why? Because I require the data from the database. So uh, first let's include the connection. So include connection.php file. Okay, I want whole data. Okay, so select star from table underscore user. Okay, so MySQL I underscore query. Okay, so this one is a query string. Now I require dollar connection comma dollar. Okay, so we are all set to display the data. Okay, data from our database. Okay, so to display the data in HTML portion, we have to create at least HTML table. Okay, so let's start the HTML code. So this one is doc type HTML slash HTML. It contains head and body. Okay, now we are having we require a table to display the data. Okay, so let's start with the table border one, and then create the table header. So this one is table field table and slash table table row table header. Okay, so first one uh, username, then user. Okay, whatever we required 4 fields. Okay, if we want another field, then we can have it. Otherwise, first one we have inserted user name, next one is email, next one is password, next one is phone number. Okay, let's try to run this display.php file. So right now it should be look like this one, right? Why? Because we have created only table border is equal to 1. So now we are having the table with the border. Now we want data. So remember, we don't know exactly how much amount of rows are there, uh, or how many rows are already inserted. Okay, so we cannot create like we cannot predefine. We do not have any predefined number of rows. Okay, so it will be always for loops. So we have to first count the number of rows, and based on that we have to uh, fetch the values in our variables, and then we have to display it. So let's create see, this table will be uh, at the end of the PHP portion. The reason is that when the table is start, then we have to display the table header, and then we have to display all the data, okay, all the data from the all the data from the PHP portion. Okay, so this one is the PHP portion from which we can fetch the data, and then okay, here all the rows should be displayed, and then we have to close the table of the okay, table we have started earlier. So in the PHP code, okay, if the result is set, why? Because we have created this one. So uh, if dollar result, then we have to create we have to add the while loop while we have sufficient row MySQL I underscore fetch array from the result. Okay, MySQL fetch array converts all the rows into a small segments or small arrays. Okay, so it converts the all the column fields of the entire row into micro array, and based on that we can fetch from that array to particular variable, and then we will print that variable values in the columns. So that is the dollar result. Okay, so that is again we have to start. Okay, so these are the we have to fetch arrays. So fetch uh, user. Okay, so this one is dollar row. Now the most important thing, this one is the column name. So uname, that is our database column name. Next one is fetch mail. Okay, so that is dollar row user email. Next one dollar fetch password is equal to dollar row. Again this one must be the database column name. So this one is user password. Next one is dollar fetch phone is equal to dollar row column name of the u phone. Okay, now we have to fetch first row. We are deleting it, we will print it here, and then again we will start our printing, and then we can stop this database. So we can start with the PHP. So here we do not require any else part. Okay, so this one is if first row, then we have to print, we have to close this while loop, and then we have to close this if portion. Okay, so first row will be printed here, getting? Okay, second row will be printed here. Okay, if it is true, then first row print it, again repeat to while loop, second row print it, again repeat to while loop until we print all the rows from the database table. Okay, so to print this we have to again we have to continue with the tr. Okay, table row. Now td. Okay, we are having 4 1 2 3 4, so that is again td first, two, second, third, fourth. Okay, we have stored it in this variables. So again question php echo the variable name dollar fetch user. First one is the fetch user, and then uh, let's close it. Now this one is the first we have printed. Next one. Okay, so again and just Okay, and then fetch phone number. Okay, so this one is all the columns of particular row is inserted in this variables. Now again, how it works, let's start. Okay, we are going from this one. We have printed the table, we have printed the header, which should be printed only once. Now, so this one is outside the while loop. Okay, why? Because we want table to be printed only a single time. So this one is table, then this one is tr. Now the php portion, inside the while loop we have created uh, MySQL fetch array. So it will take one row, divide it and store into different variables. Then we will print. This one is the while loop. Second row, it will be divided into multiple variables. We will print and we will again do this same thing until all the rows are null. Okay, so this one is test, first test, and my test and password. Okay, so this one is our database. Okay, so again let's insert something new. So second row, second at the rate row dot com, and then password row 2 at the rate 123 7887788778. Okay, so let's register. Okay, so value inserted successfully. Now let's check in the dashboard. Okay, so let's check on the dashboard, or we can say display the values. Okay, so display.php file. Okay, so this one is the second row also visible. Okay, so we will continue our next operations, which are delete and edit, or we can say update, okay, in the next session. Thank you.